Hello and welcome back to episode number 4 of Aurora X 4 stars. We're going to be continuing where I left off. We're in the 7th year of our campaign. We've got quite a few problems awaiting us that we'll be having to deal with. And as notably, one of those problems which was brought up in the last episode and the episode before that is simply the size of the systems we're dealing with. This is, for example, Merzam. Merzam from the center to the very edge of the system, from Merzam 9. We have 0.23 light years, which is 2,000 billion kilometers, if you want to know that in normal ranges. This goes for many of these places. This one is even more ridiculous, a 2 light year distance to move there. And on a small scale, that means 30 billion kilometers or 60 billion kilometers to even get to one of the inner planets. This is an issue, and we'll have to figure out how to deal with it. However, these worlds do have actual significantly good planets. Aurora A2, which is 60 billion kilometers away, so again, pretty damn bad, has a forest mountain world with a nitrogen, oxygen atmosphere and liquid, and all that would need to happen would be to get rid of the sulfur dioxide and increase the oxygen, and then you've got a fully habitable world. Again, though, that range is making that almost impossible. If we have a look at other systems, for example, we have New 3 Kingdoms Majoris. Now, if we have a look at New 3 Kingdoms Majoris, that's on the smaller side. We can have a look at that now. And yeah, that's coming up with you know, 3 billion kilometers. So we can actually move pretty easily here, 1.1 billion kilometers from there to there. But most notably, we have started colonization in the area, and these two worlds here are going to be very, very easy to actually colonize. All we need to do is remove this carbon dioxide, and we've got a fully habitable world here. So that's going to be a priority. For here, we just need to reduce the oxygen and increase the temperature, and then that's also another habitable world. And they're around Earth size as well, so very good there for us. Now, the reason that these worlds and these areas have such distance is, from my understanding, I think what's happened is the system I originally created it in, created the custom system, Seranus, was in a certain part of the galaxy next to other stars, and I used real stars, I think. And so what we're finding is there's a lot of very large stars. Look at this star. This is a B2, 95,000 luminosity. If we have a look at New 3, that's only 120. Merzam, 25,000 in luminosity. 70 Kingdoms Majoris, much smaller, only 48. Aquilae, 130. So these two systems are basically like great oceans that is going to be very hard to transport to and from, and we'll have to figure that out. Now, on to the next thing that we have to be concerned about or have to deal with. That is the simple fact that we're having to move our industry around, deal with mineral transportation, all that stuff, and obviously that does create some logistical challenges. In that regard, we need to keep increasing our cargo fleet, and we need to keep building building those ships and transporting minerals where we can here. We have minerals over here from Thodalia. Now, Thodalia does have a shipyard, so we are keeping a reserve, though I might want to reduce that reserve, which I'm probably going to do. We're going to go for 1,000 instead, just because we need every last bit of minerals being sent to Ephes, being sent to Vulia, being sent to other colonies that are, of grave importance, realistically speaking, to our actual industrial situation. Now, the good thing, which we've obviously seen, is that the civilian sector has picked up a lot of the problems that we've had to deal with. So we can go for 1,000. Actually, projected usage. Oh yeah, that's maintenance supplies, so we'll be fine either way. There we go. Another thing as well is we need to get a jump. We have jump tenders, but we don't have jump capable exploration vessels. So what I'm going to do is if we go to, not Thildaria, it'll be Dilmara. Now, Dilmara does have a stockpile of resources. I'm going to increase the shipyard to 15,000 tons in preparation for that. I'm going to look at our research situation. We're currently getting Saurium harvesters, but once that's done, I'm going to go for getting us better jump capabilities, because we're going to need to be able to actually build those. That'll make everything a lot easier for us. Much less of a concern. Okay, let's do some increments. So we're going to do 5-day increments. There we go. Albany class. What are the Albany classes? And why are they being assigned to a coordination platform? Oh, those were the small freighters. Those are small freighters. So, mineral transport group. Mineral transport division. Yeah, we use division now. And I'm going to just throw those up here. And these are small and cheap, so they're much better suited for just moving small amounts of minerals around, which we'll need to do. Speaking of, let me have a look at the stockpile situation. Lack of Gallasite currently being assigned here. That's the main thing that we need is getting Gallasite moved over. We are building a tug at the moment. Oh, we've got this in pause queue because we didn't have enough resources, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Let's unpause that. There we go. Okay. That means, Vulia, how much do you have? You have 3,000 stockpile. That's getting moved. We got 12,000 Gallasite on Cult. We'll move that periodically. So go to Cult, load Gallasite, unload that onto Thodalia. Not Thodalia, Ephes. Unload the minerals. Refuel. And we're just going to cycle those orders. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set a reserve amount. I'm going to set that reserve to 1,500. Because we don't need that much Gallasite here, but we do need a lot of Gallasite elsewhere. We'll know to load Gallasite from Vulia. Does Vulia not have any Gallasite currently? It does. I'm going to actually put this down to 500. Macaesium, why do we have a 20,000 ton stockpile of Macaesium? Yeah, that's going down to like 500. Well, no, let's put that into 1,000 because we do have some usage. Boronite, that can go down to 3,500. This can go down to 4,500. This can go down to 4,500 as well. Actually, we'll put this down to 5,500 considering the projected usage amounts, which I think is coming from our industrial capacity that we're building. Okay, the research and Saurium harvester completed, which now means that we can build our fuel harvesting stations. Now, if we have a look at the current fuel situation, which we've been having a lot of issues with over these last 3 episodes, we can have a look specifically at our gas giants. So, first up, we have Raitara. Raitara has 45 million litres of Saurium. That is something we're going to want to abuse. Soranus B has Verone. That has no Saurium. Soranus... Oh, yeah, we also have... No more gas giants here. Soranus C, we have Rolarth. That has some Saurium, but obviously a lot less. Tydear has some Saurium, but a lot less. Trow has some Saurium, but less. So, we want to begin mining from Soranus A Raitara first, which is a Super Jovian, and then we can move on to other areas to increase yearly output. Obviously, Raitara will be our main reserve, but that's going to have diminishing returns in terms of mining. If we have fuel outposts in multiple different locations with tankers moving those resources, that's realistically speaking what we want to see. So, in that regard, do we have tankers available for that transportation of that fuel? Tanker, yes we do. These tankers do, how much do? They do 10 million litres of fuel, which means that I want to, ideally, we're going to make a new station. So we're going to, no armor. We're going to call it a fuel harvesting station, which is what it is. Fuel harvester, there we go. We're going to add in sodium harvesters. So these should... Yeah, that's 48,000 liters per. We want to do 10,000 liters per annum. So divide that by 48. No, 10. We want to do 10 million liters per annum, my bad. So let's just increase those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to need, what would that be? 20 modules? So that gives us 50,000 tons. Like, oh, that's, oh, we'll need 200 modules. Okay. A little bit optimistic there. And I'm also going to give that a name. Select name. Alaska's got oil. Why don't we name... Okay, those names I will never be able to pronounce ever. Heavy metal. Hydrocarbons. Asphalt. We'll call it the asphalt class. That works. Okay, and if we do 1, 2, 3, 100. 5 million liters of fuel. 3,300 build points. That's going to take quite a bit of time, ain't it? Our tug is 8,000 tons. Probably could move something of that size. Let's do 50 modules to reduce cost, but also to make sure it actually like works. Okay, so let's do that. And then we can add in 5 more modules. So that gets us 250,000 liters of fuel a year. So we'll need 4 of these to be able to max out 1 tanker yearly amount. Now let's add in the fuel we need to actually, handle the intake. And there is a benefit of potentially putting that to fuel at high capacity, but for now I'm going to keep it like this. We're then going to put a refueling system in and make sure it's conscript, and we're good. We've got our fuel harvesting station, so we need to get that built. That's going to be expensive. What kind of resources are we looking at for that kind of vessel? Boronite and uranium. Boronite and uranium. And we can build that over on Vulia, because Vulia is our main production. So I'm going to set a stockpile for boronite at 6,000. And uranium, I'm also going to set that at 6,000. Obviously, we need to get more over. And we are trying to mine that as much as we can. Again, I'd like to see if we have a better governor for this. Civilian Administrator Mining. Ephes? Yeah, but Ephes doesn't need that. Can we get you assigned to Thodalia? Thodalia, please. Because that should give a noticeable bump. Yeah, there you go. An extra 5,000 tons of resources mined a year is a big deal when we're running at these margins. Okay, so that then means I want to begin construction. And I'm also going to get someone who's good at shipbuilding, if possible. Yeah, that works for us. Because we can build Albanese from here. Oh, we need to make a... Yeah, that's something. We've got 10th Mineral Transportation Division, 2nd Frigate Division. So what I'll do is, because we don't have a shipyard division here, is I'm going to take the 2nd Frigate Division, which is over here. We're going to create a fleet. Oh, that's an issue, isn't it? I'm going to detach you. And then do that, and that gives us that fleet. Shipyard Fleet Vulia. And then we'll put that under Freight Command. Not under Freight Command. Where the hell's Construction Operations Command? There we go. And then what we should be able to do then is I can then go over here and then use the Shipyard Fleet. There we go. So we'll do 1, 2. We'll do 1. There we go. Those are on the way. That's 3 Albanese. Well, no, most importantly, we'll have you finish that research lab up. I'm going to cancel you, and I'm going to cancel you because they're basically doing what the same thing is anyway. And we're going to go for 4 of these at 75%. Also, once we get to, we start moving shipyards around, which we'll need to do. Okay, so that means we'll produce about 1.8 a year. Obviously, I'd like to get some more construction factories over, but there's not a lot you can do there. We can obviously start building that from Colt as well, get that moved around. But yeah, we'll get 4 of those on the way. Then with the research, I'm going to put 5 labs. I'm going to put those into... Yeah, we're going to cancel you. and cancel you. I'm going to put 5 labs into jump drive efficiency. I'm going to put other labs into getting us refueling up orbital habitat modules, maintenance support per facility. Construction and production. Mining production. Mining production is a big one. I'm going to put 10 labs into that. Small jump point stabilization module. We are going to need that. And I'm going to get research on that as well. Because we need to actually open up the jump point so that our civilians can actually go through. So that's going to be important. So we'll get those labs working and on the way. Our colony is currently growing as well. Though support's not great. Which was the fighter division handling moving installations? Unload infrastructure. You're moving that to Itara. You are not doing anything. You are unloading on nuclear chemistry. Sure. So you're moving the infrastructure. Okay. You can join them then, because you're technically part of the same thing. So join the 3rd Fighter Division, and then you can begin working with them. 5 increments. We complete research on Delmara of commercial magazines, which is also important because we need to be able to move around missiles, and that is the cheap way of doing it. So Delmara, you have 5 labs. Yeah, you do. Defensive systems, actually. Let's have a begin researching ground combat, maybe. Yeah, we need capabilities, because capabilities is going to be very, very important going forward. So we're going to just start research onto that. Overcrowding at the moment. We're dealing with a bit of overcrowding, but it's not too big of a problem. Trapiscan. So that would be another... Yeah, that would be another cruiser. So we're going to rename this to... Ooh, and it's actually by mistake. This will be the NSS... What name do we think we want for this? Canis Maturus. We have the Thodalia. So let's have a look here. So we have the Thodalia, we have the Ephus, and we should have the Serranus. The Ephus, Serranus, and Thodalia. So we can rename this to the NSS Vulia. NSS Vulia. Oh, that's the fleet name. NSS Vulia. I'm gonna put you into that. So that gives us those 2 cruisers currently standing by. They will need missiles. Speaking of, our missile production is over here. What's our stockpile? 334 missiles. I need to continue that ordnance production. So we're going to order up 200 more missiles to be constructed. Those will be done by next year. I'm going to detach both of these vessels. We're going to have them join up with the 1st cruiser squadron. Yeah, join that fleet. There we go. So that will give us all 3 vessels available. And they'll also need to get their fighter camera scouts. So if I go over to reserve, we have some of those in reserve. So I'm going to detach you. And we're going to have you join directly up with the 3rd. Oh my god, the amount of stuff. 1st Cruiser Division, you're going to land on the Thodalia. Thodalia and Nevulia is what we want to land on. Land on the Ulia. There we go. They should be able to reach that just fine. And then we'll keep those guys on standby for now. So that's 3 Serranus class vessels. They're getting some training as well from just being around. But once they've got their fighters sorted out, we'll move them back. There we go. So they've got their fighters. I'm gonna have you moved over to Colt, do a refuel, do a load ordnance, because we need to actually have the ordnance ready for them. Fuel available here is somewhat, not a lot. Fuel available on Ephus is doing okay. None to the mayor. Vulia has fuel. So Vulia is still trying to get the fuel. Speaking of, we can get a mining governor if we can. Here, there we go. And that should hopefully increase the amount that we're producing. Yeah, 150 fuel for enemies, 7.2 million litres of fuel. Where is that fuel, generally speaking, going to? Trapiskin has fuel. Dali is getting a lot of the fuel. Dilmara also getting fuel. Okay. 5 increments. 35th Division has joined. There we go, that's good news. Okay. All the cruisers are available and ready to go. They all have missiles loaded and ready, though obviously they can't really go anywhere. I mean, they can. If we have a look at our... where the hell is it? Coordination... Support Command. Our military jump tenders have 25,000 tons. So we can move them to deal with an enemy if we need to. It's just that they wouldn't be very, very effective. I'm going to stop them. I'm going to stop building those cruisers there at like 3. I mean, do we have the resources? How many resources do we need for each of these? 25,000, so 5,000 resources. We can afford to 2 more. We'll do 2 more. We'll do 2 more, and then we'll stop building Serana's class vessels. So 1, 2. Get those underway. Just so that we're ready. Unable to select uranium. Okay, who is moving those resources to Vulia? Because the Dahlia should be mining them in excess, and those should be moved. So my question is, who is moving them? Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop maintenance production for you. You're okay. You're okay. Who is moving those resources specifically? Because that's important. Mail Transportation Division. Loading. You're loading all minerals until full. You're moving them. Yeah, you were moving those resources around. I mean, I'll wait for the extra Albanese to get more resources. More stability issues over here. Hopefully the infrastructure will get the infrastructure over. Fuel shortage. Ah, yes, that was an issue, wasn't it? Pause. We need to get fuel moved over. I'm going to have, for now, I'm going to have a tanker do that. I'm going to have you. Okay, you're already doing things. You're doing things. The front real is not doing things. You're going to load fuel from, I think it's Thodalia. Yeah, Thodalia. Refuel. Transfer the fuel to Colt. And then we'll need to use that fuel, obviously, for missiles. SS Barn has only 150,000 litres left in New 3 Canis Majoris. That's an issue. 3rd Fighter Division. Refuel from Colony. Okay. Get back to Serranus. Refuel Thodal. Is Thodali the nearest one? Ephes might be nearer. Yeah, Ephes is nearer, so do 7 days increments. Should be able to make it back, hopefully. And for now, I'm going to have the 1st Colony Division just halt on unloading those colonists. Okay, please tell me you'll be able to make that. Division, 10 days. Yeah, there we go. Okay, they've completed their orders. Fantastic news. You can then head into New 3 Canis Majoris and then unload those, which the infrastructure is desperately needed there. 1st Exploration Division. Them to carry out orders. You're in Serranus. I think that was for the overhaul. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was for overhaul. Where is our current military jump tenders? Canis Majoris. And I think on New 3, are we? Canis Majoris, Merzum, Atara, and then yeah, New 3. Well, New 3 and 117 Canis. Is New 3 surveyed in terms of its? No, it's not. Okay, so that's where you're going to head to. Because I need to know if there's any jump points there, because that's obviously could be a problem. You're currently overhauling. You'll be done somewhat shortly. Continuous capacity upgrade for dockyards at Dilmara finished up, so that's for 15,000 tons. Again, I want to see if we can get a refit in for a jump drive onto the actual vessel itself. So we would need a pretty big jump drive. 60,000, 70,000, 75. Yeah, we would not be able to do that. So we're going to need to increase that even more. I'm thinking we go 18,000 tons. These are getting big, but we're going to need to do it if we want to do what we want to do, or get more efficient. Which we're trying to do both. 3 Albany's finished up. Albany, you will detach. You'll be renamed to the 10th Mineral Transport Division. And you're going to go from Vulia. Not Vulia, you're going to go from... what do you call it? God, I've forgotten the name. You're going to go from... Let me have a look. Thodalia, I always forget. Thodalia, you're going to go from Thodalia to Vulia. Like that. At least for now, obviously. These are a lot faster as well. Like, these go 1,500 kilometers per second. If we have a look at this, they're going 1,100. So it's... They are able to move those resources over a lot faster. They also use, obviously, a lot less fuel. 250,000 liters, which is a lot better for everyone involved. So, go to Thodalia, load all minerals. We'll do this on 90 days, actually. So that would be probably, I don't know, 7 million seconds? Yeah, they're about right. So, load all, then bring them back to Vulia, unload all minerals, and then refuel. There we go. You can cycle those orders. Okay, 3rd Fighter Division is on the way. Got the 1st Exploration Division over here, doing its surveying. Unrest is rising. That'll be fixed somewhat soon. Civilian mining operation established on Raitara. Speaking of Raitara, how is the production situation coming? Also, our population is booming because we're all on different planets. All the population growth is actually pretty damn high. So, industry. We'll have the first one, hopefully by March-ish. March, April. There we go, the first asphalt. What was the situation with the tug? That'll be done in July, so we can't move them until July. Which we should have 2 of them by then. 3rd Fighter Division has completed orders. Good to see. 3rd Fighter Division, I'm going to have you then head over to Saranas. Go load infrastructure. Go back to new... Assume fleet is jump capable, yeah. Go back to new 3 Canis Majoris. Unload all installations. Then head back to Saranas and refuel. That should cycle moves correctly, though I'll have to be a little bit careful on that. How much population can we now support over on New 3 Canis Majoris? We can support available workers, 0.3 million. 1st Colony Division can transport 200,000, so wait on that a little bit. We can unload and I'll send them back and I'll do new orders for them. Move to Thodalia. Yeah, no cycling orders there. But still got that unrest, but we are building up here. And then we do have some minerals, a lot of corundium actually. So this is like a really significant planet. Very, very significant, that is. Our economy is also pretty much booming. Yeah, a lot of that is going to be coming from worker taxes, just from everywhere. Shipyards are employing a lot of people, that's for damn sure, as well as science. Again, we're just going to wait for that tug to be done, that's the main thing. So we can do 5 increments. Production of infrastructure complete a cult. The next thing I'm actually going to use cult for, because we do have a stockpile of resources, uranium, boronite. We actually don't have a lot of boronite. So let me manufacture another 2,000 infrastructure. We'll have to get mineral transports to move minerals over to there at some point. Okay, fire cycle. First colony division complete orders. Unable to load none from Daedalus. What do you mean unload none from Daedalus? Also, did I not move you correctly? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. 10th Mineral Transport Division. 10th Mineral Transport Division. Unload all minerals. You should have. There should be minerals from Daedalus. I guess what we could do is just have them sit there. Daedalus. Load all minerals until full. Unload them onto Vulia. Refuel from Vulia. Cycle those moves. And that should be fine. Research facility on Vulia completed. Put that into construction rate. Then industry, we're going to increase this to 100. There we go. And that should mean by July we should have 2, which we can then move. There we go. We got our Abomination class tug. I'm also going to order another one of those up. We have the resources to do so let's have another one built in. Boronide's actually been a little bit of a problem. Alright, so that should have been sent to the Ephes shipyard. So I'm going to detach you. Not really much fuel. We're going to call this the 1st Tug Division. And then put this on fuel harvesters. That's his primary job. Put you into support command. And then we're going to have you move those around. So those should be over on Vulia. So fleets. Vulia, tractor. Where would they have ended up? That's a good question. Where the hell would the in a coordination platform, maybe? No, they shouldn't have. They would have ended up in Vulia. The question is, though, is where would they have actually gone? Apparently, in a frigate division. First frigate division, because it auto selects. That's what happens. So that would be the 2nd frigate division. Tractor, asphalt. Take that over to Vitara. There we go. These ships. Refuel from Vulia. Okay. And that shouldn't take too long. So if we have a look back over at Seranus, they should be over at Vulia, which, if I remember my geography correctly, which I actually have to remember nowadays, is should be over here. So we'll see. These are just waiting, which is quite funny. First Tug Division, interested jump. I think you've got that up. So that's 1500 kilometers per second you reduced to. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, you're going over to Itara now. Itara is, where the hell are you? Itara is here, so it has to go all the way over here to dump off the fuel harvester. There we go, and the asphalt is now there, which means that we've begun mining that fuel. I'll have to rename those, but that's 2.8 million litres of fuel, and then obviously we can move... Oh god, I need to change that. That's a problem, because that's going to drain all the fuel out. You need to be changed to a tanker. That is a problem. 2,000 to 3,000 litres. Well, the fuel's there, we can just get it back when we need to. But no, you're going to be mining 2.8 million litres of fuel, and we're going to be transferring those back where we can. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave the episode off. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. Really does help me out. More episodes on the way. Sorry for the hiatus. If you are interested in getting involved in this series, in the description, you can get the save file and play along from the first year. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. You guys have a good one. And special thanks to members Luis Neto, King Strozer, Impassive, 9001, Tiki832, Tiki832, Scott Mundy, Ryan Smelly, It's Honey, Death Himself, Zaven, Clevass, Alex Roberts, Fishik, and Gravmania. Thanks for your support. Help to keep the channel going.